Welcome to the Chamber Vibes podcast with your host, Brittany Timmons, the Greater Guthrie Chamber of Commerce CEO and President. In this podcast, you will hear from local guests who will discuss topics such as leadership, small business, and our vibrant community. You'll also hear success stories and tips from amazing local businesses, dive into important news, meet community leaders, and find out how you can get involved in our community. From the Second Banana Media Studios in beautiful and historic downtown Guthrie, America, here is Brittany Timmons.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Chamber Vibes. I've got my good friend, Dr. Dawn Hacker. Hello on today, and she is a chiropractor here in town with Dr. Dawn's Chiropractic. So how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Excited to have you on. So let's talk about, that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk. Let's tell everyone how did you get into chiropractic? Let's talk about your story.
I know. Well,
I know.
It's been a long time ago, so I don't really remember. No, really. When I was in college, I had taken several nutrition classes. I was pre-med and had done a internship with a gynecologist and decided that just was not the direction I wanted to go. So I had taken some nutrition classes and sports medicine and kind of just fell into I could do all of that as a chiropractor. So that's how I became a chiropractor.
Okay. So where did you actually do your schooling?
I went to Parker College of Chiropractic. It was in Dallas. I spent 3 years in chiropractic school.
Okay, awesome. And so how did you end up in Guthrie?
So Dr. Jill, well, I think everybody would have known her as Battencourt. At the time, she was had actually remarried and moved to Elgin. So she was selling her practice that her and her ex-husband had for several years. And so I came up and met with her one day, and she took me to lunch, and we walked around downtown, and I signed the papers that day.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you didn't really have any, like me, you didn't really have any ties to Guthrie originally, so it was just meant to be. Yeah. And you were an athlete growing up.
Yes.
So you've always had, a passion for sports, and so that just kind of lines up with what you do. So tell everyone a little bit about your practice.
So I see everyone from birth to, I think my oldest patient right now is probably in their 90s. I treat a lot of kids, a lot of athletes, a lot of weekend athletes. Basically, anybody that has a spine that has issues, I take care of them.
Awesome. And you are a one-woman show.
Yes.
I think people may not realize that. So
let's talk about that. I have not always been a one-woman show, but probably this is going on year 3. Not really. My former office manager had went on a different route, and I just kind of wanted to make some changes and get a new computer system and, kind of update some stuff and see how it went. And then I was like, with this new computer system, I'm going to see how I do it all. I can do it by myself for a little while. And 3 months went by, and 6 months went by, and
now you're 3.
Now it's year 3, and I am determined that I'm kind of a control freak, and I just don't know that I can turn the reins back over to someone else running my schedule.
Right.
So it makes it really simple. I actually see more patients now than I did when I actually had somebody, because I can kind of control my own schedule and put people where I need to put them to get as many people in that I can.
Awesome. So how long, I guess I probably should have said this before, but how long have you been here?
This is year 17. This is year 17.
Oh, wow. See, I always say that on here. I always learn something
when
new.
I was 8.
You and I have been friends. I didn't even realize that. You started when you were 8.
Started when I was 8.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So 17 years here in Guthrie.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what are your hours there at the practice?
So Mondays and Thursdays I go 9 to 6. Tuesdays the office is actually closed, and then Wednesdays 9 to 5. And
you actually need a day, Dawn? Yeah. Since you are a one-woman show?
Tuesdays, you would be surprised, but when you are an actual doctor and you need to go to the dentist and to your female doctor, those kind of things, they don't work on the weekends.
Right.
And so I take Tuesdays off to kind of take care of myself. I typically get my massages and get my IVs and all the things that I need to do to take care of myself so that I can take care of others.
Right, because when you're sick or down, your patients can't be seen.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
And you don't have someone else to depend on. So that's important. So yes, everyone needs to respect that for sure. Your Tuesday you day. And I know you and I were talking a couple weeks ago and you were still doing paperwork on that day. And sometimes that's just the way it goes.
When you take insurance, there's always stuff that has to be done. And so sometimes on Tuesdays I do go in and, catch up on some paperwork and do some cleaning and, things that need to, when you run your own business, there's always stuff that needs to be done. So this past Tuesday, I didn't go in at all. So it just really depends on what needs to be done. And
totally understand
the benefits of owning your own business. You go when you want.
That's right. Yeah, there's definitely perks to that and pros and cons.
Yes,
for sure for doing it all on your own. So, what do you have like a good patient story? I mean, I know you help people with all kinds of different injuries and things like that. So is there something that I know I kind of put you on the spot? I didn't prepare her for this question. Is there kind of a good story that kind of sticks out in your head over the years of helping people?
I will say, so when I was doing my sports diplomate program, one of the requirements was that you had to publish a paper. And at the time I was like, oh my gosh, what on earth am I going to publish a paper about? Because they're all the same. I mean, you read tons of sports journals and it's, you don't ever really get the, oh, wow, that was really, that was something really neat. But at the time I had a patient that she would randomly stutter. And they thought she had a stroke. They thought, she had all kinds of labs and tons of doctors, and they couldn't figure anything out. But she knew she could come in and she could get adjusted and it would go away. And so, it was literally, there was no reason that she stuttered.
And so when she would get adjusted,
it would quit.
Wow. That's
and
amazing.
So and to this day, we still don't know why.
Right. Wow.
But if she feels it coming on, she comes and gets adjusted. And
that's amazing.
I don't.
Well, that kind of leads up to I do want to I do want you to talk about on the show like some of the benefits of chiropractic care. Okay. I know that it's like more just from things that I've read and different things that it's more than just sometimes, oh, my back's out of whack.
Right.
So what are some of the other
Well, a lot of people think chiropractic is for pain. Yes and no. Most of the time when people that have never been to the chiropractor before, that's what gets them in the door is the pain. But then when you're not in pain, I kind of explain it as more you want your body to function at optimal performance. So if you are having a headache or you're not sleeping well or you're having a lot of sinus infections or you just overall your immune system is just not good every time you get sick, chiropractic helps with all of that. So the idea behind it is putting your body at normal by getting the adjustment helps prevent all of those things. So when you are experiencing something that is not right for you, getting adjusted can help with that.
Wow. Okay. So like what are some of the things that chiropractic can help with?
Headaches. My favorite always with babies is constipation.
Oh, okay. See, learned something new. Didn't know that one.
Typically, when children are learning to walk, they fall a lot, and so when your toddler or your 1-year-old is extremely constipated because they fall so much, it's because every time they fall, their little spine gets crammed down. Well, all the nerves that go to the digestive system they come from your low back. So when you imagine how many times a day a baby that's trying to walk falls. Yeah. That can be part of one of the reasons. So, mom brings baby in, baby gets adjusted. Typically, I tell mom, please bring a diaper, because by the time, baby gets adjusted, mom gets adjusted, baby needs diaper change. And so it's pretty instant with little kids. Now,
That's
adults, not so much. I mean, it does.
There's still hope, though.
Constipation is one of the things that it will also help with, and a lot of people don't really realize that. I guess one of another good story, I guess I had a patient that she had several miscarriages, and she basically was told she was never going to be a mom. And she had researched, that chiropractic could help that. And so she comes in and she says, you're my last hope. And I said, oh, game on.
No pressure.
Yeah. So we had adjusted her I would say probably about 3 times. And she comes in and she had a big old grin on her face. And she had been pregnant before in the past. And I told her, I said, you're going to have this baby. And she is now pregnant with her second. Actually, she's just had her second baby.
Okay.
And the last time she had come in, I said, because she normally comes when they were, trying to have a baby or whatever. And so she comes in and I said, are you pregnant? And she's like, no. I said, are you sure? She's like, no, we're trying. And I was like, okay. So then a few weeks later, she comes in and she's like, how did you know?
How did you know?
She was already pregnant. I just knew. I don't know.
Wow.
I just could feel it.
That's amazing.
So, yeah. She's had her second baby, and the doctors are kind of she's kind of a miracle story, but.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. You, through what you do, you're a miracle worker, friend. Seriously. Yeah. It may seem sometimes just mundane or simple, but
But then it goes back to you're putting the body where it goes.
Right.
And then again with, people that are having a hard time, getting a baby or getting pregnant or whatever, essentially there's nerve flow interference to the reproductive organs. And so that's not always the case, but it's always worth a shot.
Yeah.
Before you go spend $1 bajillion on fertility drugs and that kind of stuff.
Call Dr. Dawn.
Yeah, call me.
Call Dr. Dawn.
I can't promise I can help everyone.
Are you taking new patients? Do you all the time, or when you can get them in?
It really just kind of depends. Right now, it's about 3 days out. I do typically have cancellations every day. So my advice to everyone right now is, typically call me first thing in the morning. If I don't have anything, I will put you, per se on a waiting list. If I get something, I'll give you a call. I can't always promise that I'm going to get a cancellation that day. If I get one the next day, I just kind of go down my waiting list. So I don't necessarily turn anyone away. So I always am taking new patients. It just may take me a couple days to get you in. It really just depends on the schedule and, what everybody else has got going on too.
Right. Awesome. Well, that's cool. See, I knew we would get a good story. Once you get talking, it's like things, those stories pop out in your head, and I love that. That's why I love doing the show, is for people to be able to tell their stories and what they do. And so with that too, I know how much you love our community, and there's just no denying it. From the things that you do, from your Facebook posts, everything. You serve in a local church here. Yes.
Yes, I go to First Christian with you.
Yes, and of course a chamber member too, and we had Pastor Ronnie on last episode, and so you serve there, but also you love serving the community and our athletes. So let's talk a little bit about some of the partnerships that you have with Guthrie Public Schools. I know, one of many, I know.
I guess my big one is probably wrestling. I typically go where they go. They have kind of become a little family.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm super
It's
emotional.
okay. It's graduation. It's graduation time. And so, I know.
Those kids mean the world to me.
I know.
Yeah, man.
Well, and you mean the world to them. So, yeah. So you go to the matches, and you're there if an injury happens or they need you.
I joke around that I am their insurance policy. So in the event that something bad happens, I'm there. And I have been with these kids for a really long time.
Yeah. Well, you've been here 17 years, so you've watched a lot of them grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, so Guthrie Wrestling, and what are some of the other programs that you serve?
Well, I just kind of started, I went to regional track last weekend and met a bunch of new kids because I had kind of been, some of the distance girls have been coming in and getting treatments, and I hadn't been to a track meet forever, and I thought, hey, why not? So I drove to Tulsa last weekend, and they were all pretty excited to see me there, and a lot of them I had never met before, and so kind of showed them some new stretches and just different stuff, and track kids they were amazing. They did phenomenal last weekend, and so they'll have a state meet tomorrow and Saturday, and so I Unfortunately for some of my patients, I am taking off tomorrow afternoon because I am going to go watch
go serve these kids.
I'm going to go watch them run and hopefully help watch some of them go get that ring.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. Well, we always say, community wins. That's one of our hashtags that we use at the Chamber, and you definitely are the definition of that. You love your community. You serve your community. You're probably not going to say it, but I will say it. You love giving financially when you can, sponsoring things. You're always like, hey, I'm here. How can I help?
It's easy. It's easy to give to the schools because you can see where your money goes. Last year, the wrestlers needed new singlets. Booster Club didn't have enough. I said, hey, Coach Chappell was not real happy about it, but here, take the money. And then he likes to tell me how to spend my money. But Coach Chappell and I kind of sometimes butt heads sometimes on how I get to spend my own money, but he's always very grateful to have it. And I just tell him sometimes just, hey, let me do this. And and I still try to, give to everyone else. But like I said, when I write a check that it, goes to wrestling or goes to football or whoever, I know that it's going to benefit the kids. Like they're, whether they need new helmets or new track shoes or whatever, I can see that. And I know that it's a need because there are so many kids. And, sometimes they just, when parents have multiple kids, sometimes the money's just not there.
Right.
And if I can do a little bit to help that, that's what I'd like to do.
Right. Well, and I think, too, we all have to remember, especially raising kids and everything like that, the sports are more than just a game. Mm-hmm. They learn life lessons out there.
Yes.
And so when you're spending money, it might seem like on a wrestling singlet, it's much more than that.
Yes.
And you know that.
Yes.
Which is why you love to give and do what you do. So... Well, I just want to say thank you for all that you do. Like I said, I know because I know you personally outside of chamber and business, but just if you don't know the heart of Dr. Dawn, you need to get to know this woman because she's incredible. And and like I said, your name is all over there when it comes to our athletes and the schools and any way that you can help. You're one of the first people I see on Facebook, this organization needs this, how can we help? And I just love that.
Well, thank you.
And so, so is there anything else you want to add? I know, just people need to call you because you're here to help.
Not tomorrow.
Yeah, not tomorrow. For whenever you're watching this, not on Friday, whatever tomorrow's date is, the 12th.
12th.
So, she's going to be at the track meet cheering on our Guthrie Blue Jays. So, what's the best way for people to reach you?
Probably just you can call the office. Right now, as she said, I'm a one-woman show, so I typically... If you need in, call first thing in the morning. I will return calls typically first thing in the morning. I usually return them at lunch, and then I always call before the end of the day. I know a lot of people always laugh because they're like, it's 7 o'clock. Why are you just now calling me back? Well, my message says I will return your call a day in. So when I finish, I typically return calls before I head home so that if I can, if I happen to have a cancellation the next day, I can automatically put somebody in. So,
awesome.
they can also send a message on the Facebook page.
Okay. What's your Facebook?
Dr. Dawn's Chiropractic.
Yep.
Yeah, you can send a message. I don't typically, the Facebook will pop up, but again, you'll get a message back when I sit down in between patients or at lunch or whatever.
Okay, and tell everyone where you're located.
I am at 309 North Division, so in the same building as Cornwell Pharmacy.
Okay. Yep, right there. Easy to find. Right in town.
Yes.
Yes, and we can talk a little bit about your family before we close. So you have a husband.
I do. Andy and I have been married a long time. We've been together 25 years and married probably
I know.
16.
I didn't ask you to do
17
math.
in July. 17
okay,
in July.
There you go.
And then I have a daughter, Kennedy. She goes to Fogarty. She will be 9 in June.
Yes, so awesome.
Yep.
Yep. So Guthrie Blue Jay Mama, and all of that, and they're always there to support you, and everything you do. So
she enjoys following along, and she may have gotten a touch of my competitiveness. So I'm trying to tone that down just a pinch. At 9 is kind of scary.
I know. But we're raising some tough girls.
Yeah.
So her friend Aubrey is very similar.
Yes.
So anyway,
might not bide well for these teachers in the next few years.
Yes. And shout out to our teachers. Because it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and so it's been fun to see people loving on our teachers and staff. And thank you for all that they do. I know they're ready to wind down the school year and have a much needed break.
Summer vacation.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, thank you so much for
welcome.
being our guest. Thank you for all you do for
Thank
the
you.
Guthrie community.
You're welcome.
Please follow her on Facebook. Give her a call. Stop by her office. Say hi. If anything, just go in and meet Dawn. Get to know her. So, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hope the Blue Jays do well at their track meet, and we'll catch up with you later. So,
Ma'am.
thanks. Have a good one. We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Thanks for listening to the Chamber Vibes podcast from Second Banana Media Studios in beautiful downtown Guthrie, America. Be sure and check out a new episode every other Monday. And until then, remember to choose Guthrie.